Hello my friends, the day after plus 15, 1-5. Zero deaths over the last 24 hours in Serbia for the first time after many days. Zero deaths. 105 newly discovered infected persons out of almost 6,000 tested. So, fine. I was in my previous videos. I was talking, although I didn't mean to, but I was talking about my passion for skiing and what a person can do when he's passionate about something. It's strange thing, this passion. I mean, definitely. I mean, passion, not in the in the sense of passion, having passion for something. I never managed to understand the passion for gambling, to be honest. Although I know some people that are quite dependent on that. But skiing is one, definitely. Skiing, actually, it's not. I'm not really sure whether it's a passion for skiing or it's a passion for adrenaline. Although, it could be that even we are talking about adrenaline, but skiing is the kind of the closest thing, because I'm relatively, how to say, I mean, relatively self-controlled person. So I'm not going to, I mean, in Serbian we have a verb srljati. So I'm trying not, although, it's a questionable, but it's definitely questionable. But in general, I try to control as much as possible this passion of mine for adrenaline. And skiing is just at the right level of adrenaline that I feel. But not only the adrenaline, I also feel I like mountains. So, I mean, climbing to the peak of the mountain and then seeing the scenery from that peak of the mountain, it's priceless, really priceless. But honestly speaking, it was not the skiing that brought me most of the. I know another guy. I mean, not directly that I know him, but I know a story of another guy who did it even worse than I did. I mean, fighting with his wife about once going for skiing. He even organized secretly evacuating his skiing equipment through the window, because he did not admit his wife that he's going for skiing, but he told her the story about going for a business trip. Not sure how did he manage to pack all the things and evacuate it through the window, and that his wife did not notice anything. I mean, it's a bit okay. Maybe if he has a big house, it's possible, and possibly this was the case because the guy is quite rich. So really, he evacuated, organized a friend of him to accept it when he was throwing it to the window. I mean, not throwing it, but just evacuating the things, the skis, the sticks, and all other necessary equipment. And then he went for that skiing, reporting to the wife that he is going for a business trip. Yeah, so my example that I explained in my previous video is not the worst, definitely. About the other time of me feeling adrenaline, actually the most adrenaline that I felt, now I'm thinking, okay, there was one additional event when I was playing this paintball. But okay, this was not so much adrenaline. I'll tell you that story as well because I believe it's very interesting. But the adrenaline, it was about me driving a motorbike in Athens. Actually, it was even not a proper motorbike, it was a scooter, the 50cc. I remember me going, I was in a hotel and then I went to the reception and said, could you help me? I would like to rent a motorbike. If you can help me with, if you know some rental agency or whatever. And the lady from the reception just looked at me and said, you would like to rent a motorbike? Yes. Here in Athens? Yes. It is very dangerous, don't do that. And I was like, okay, but I have quite some experience in riding on a motorbike. No, but you don't know Athens and it's very dangerous. And I was like, okay, I didn't want to argue anymore. I saw that she is not ready to help me. So I went back to the room, Googled a bit and found a shop. On my way there, I stopped with these hop-on, hop-off buses. The lady that was promoting them. And she was telling me, there are 3 routes. There is city center route, the other one a bit wider, and then there is also the Riviera route. And I said, I'm planning to go to the Riviera, but not by bus. But I'm just going to rent a motorbike. And she was like, to rent a motorbike here in Athens? Oh, yeah. So again, the same story. And I was like, I was already a bit pissed off. So I came to the place. I told them that I want to rent a motorbike, a scooter. The lady was a bit older lady. She was like, okay. And while we were signing the agreement the rental agreement, I told her this anecdote saying, whomever I have asked about it, everybody told me that it is very dangerous to ride a motorbike or a scooter in Athens. And she just looked at me and said, yes, it is. And I was like, Jesus, what can be so dangerous? And then a bit later on that day, I found out in a harder way. Not very hard, luckily, but quite harder. I was returning. I took the whole. It was quite a journey actually. I went to the Riviera, to Glyfada, and then Vuljagmeni, Vula, Saroninda, etc. Lagonissi Grand Resort, and then all the way to the Cape Sunion. Had a nice lunch there, and then I decided to go the route from the other side of the Hymettus mountain. So the area where the airport is, the new airport is located, and honestly speaking, there is no need to do that because that route there is nothing much to see there. It's a long route. It was getting dark already. It was a bit even coldish. Never mind. I managed to reach finally the Marussi, I believe, Avenue. Not really sure, but yeah, I believe it was Marussi. And then there was a enormous Stau, as the Germans would say, but the traffic jam. But this is typical for Athens in the afternoon hours, evening hours. Very typical. But it gets, I don't know, the proportions that okay, Belgrade is difficult when if you're crossing the Gazela Bridge from New Belgrade to the city center in the afternoon, but the type of traffic jam that you can experience in Athens, it's 10 times more awful than that one in Belgrade. So yeah, and then I realized that motorbikers, they do not wait in the line, but they practically drive the white stripe in the middle of the lanes. Not in the middle of the lanes, but between the 2 lanes. Because this avenue had 3 lanes, so there were 2 areas where the motorbikes were just passing through. And they were not just passing through like I'm doing here in Belgrade, slowly, being careful about these retrovisors, as we say in Serbian. It's the rear window, the mirror windows. No, they are practically going half of the full speed. So there is that culture that practically there are so many motorcyclists that drivers of a cars are practically a minority there. So they have to obey the rules set by the motorcyclists. So they have to form a straight line when they are in their lane, not to be a bit more to the left or to the right, because if they do so, they are risking their mirrors to be destroyed by the motorbikers. So they really form quite a straight line, and then the motorbikers are practically passing between these mirrors of the cars in half of the full speed, let's say. And when I realized that this is the name of the game, I started to follow it. However, it is not easy, my friend, not easy at all. You have to be very skillful, extremely skillful to do that. So I was there with my scooter of 50cc, which is half of the size of the big motorcycle. But I've been seeing the drivers of BMW's 1200 GS. I mean the huge bikes. They were doing absolutely the same. I mean, driving between the two lines of cars. And the level of concentration that you need to have there is enormous, because really, I mean, you have to be fully concentrated all the time. Otherwise, you scratch a car, or you do it even worse. So I didn't manage to do it for a long time. So I was driving like that for 2 to 3 minutes, and then I couldn't stand anymore. I mean, the level of adrenaline. And then I went into the lane in the line of cars. Recovered a bit, I mean, for 30 seconds or a minute, I mean, in that queue, and then returned back to the line. Because if you slow down, you cannot slow down. You have to follow the rhythm of the other cyclists. If you slow down, then they will be practically yelling at you or whatever. So either you keep that pace, half a full speed, or you don't, or you just go to the lane with the cars. And I didn't want to be the only one being in the lane with the cars, so I had to follow and keep the pace. Which, I mean, at the end I managed to get to the hotel, which was quite centrally located at Syntagma Square, and it took me a good 2 hours to recover my heart rhythm. I mean, the usual heart rhythm, and actually to recover from that adrenaline, for the level of adrenaline to go back to the normal, let's say, level. Really, this is the, I mean, yeah, I was flying with different type of things. I was even flying on my own, some planes or ultralight how to say, aircrafts. Okay, for a short period of time, of course. But this is not even close to the adrenaline that I felt there. So congratulations to all the motorbike drivers in Athens. It's an unforgettable experience. Okay, that much for now, and talk to you soon again.